We're halfway through the week, and it's time for a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, the 20th day of September. We're less than 48 hours away from the beginning of the autumn season, but the calendar and the actual weather oftentimes don't match up, and that's certainly going to be the case this time around. Let's first talk about precipitation, though, this evening. It's been remarkably dry. We've had some localized downpours over the last 24 hours or so, even, a half an inch or so of rain in a couple of spots, especially last evening. But at the airport in Vienna, we've been high and dry since last Friday, and actually going back to the 8th of the month, we've only had 0.03 inches of rain, 13 days, and only a few hundredths of an inch. And we're running about 1.76 inches below average through the first 20 days of the month. And none is coming over the next 7 days. This calendar is going to look very similar a week from right now. All right, so when I recorded Weather Geeks this evening, we did have a couple of real isolated showers around Salem. That is about it. These are going to fade away pretty quickly this evening, and we'll be left with a dry night tonight. The sky will clear. All right, so as we've been doing a lot lately, let's check in on the tropics. This, of course, is Maria. This is an 18-hour loop of the infrared satellite, and I'll slow this down and pause it for just a second. You can see when Maria made landfall this morning, it had a very, very well-defined eye. There's a lot of high terrain over Puerto Rico, and so even though this caused enormous amounts of devastation, and I've seen reports of the entire island still being without power this evening, the storm did weaken once it moved inland. You can see the eye just disappear over the course of a couple of hours, right around daybreak this morning. And as it moved over the higher terrain, the eye completely disappeared and did not come back. Now, we're seeing some signs on the satellite this evening as this emerges on the northwest side of Puerto Rico that the eye is trying to reform. This is never going to end up being as strong as it already has been. We're not going to see a Category 5 again out of Maria. But nonetheless, some re-strengthening is likely as this moves away from Puerto Rico. Category 2 storm, maximum winds, 110 miles per hour. The pressure down to 957 millibars. This is going to impact the Turks and Caicos in the southeastern part of the Bahamas. Probably becomes a Category 3 again. And then as it pushes north, a lot of question marks as we get into next week. Notice the top of the forecast here is Monday, perhaps off the coast of the Carolinas somewhere. If this has an impact on the U.S., the mainland U.S., it would most likely be towards, Monday night into Tuesday. And the best chance would be the parts of the coast that stick out, say North Carolina, for example. But most of the long-range modeling does keep it offshore, but the confidence in that modeling this far out is not real high. There's still room for it to go like this and room for it to go like this as well. So the end game remains to be seen on Maria. This is Jose up in the northwestern part of the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. It's a tropical storm. Jose is just going nowhere. Look at the path over the next 5 to 7 days, essentially stalling and hanging out for a while. This is going to be on the weather maps for quite a while, and actually the interaction of the circulation with Jose and Maria could be interesting to watch early next week. Jose might keep Maria away from the mainland U.S., might help to steer it more north than northwest. So again, we'll see about that. All right, back here at home, we've got a lot of moisture. Dew points are high. The sky will clear. The wind will be light tonight. Now, we haven't had any rain lately in most spots, and that will discourage the fog from being super widespread, but some patches of fog, especially in the river valleys, that'll be a possibility for tomorrow morning and probably Friday and Saturday mornings as well. If you don't have fog in the morning and you're up early, a decent pass of the International Space Station begins at 5:59 a.m. Now, this won't be as high in the sky as the last couple of nice passes, 38 degrees, but still not bad. Appearing in the west sky, disappearing about 4.5 minutes later in the southeast sky. So if you're up and at 'em early on a Thursday morning, check out the space station. Big picture for your Thursday, looking for 12 hours, 12 minutes of daylight on the 21st day of September and the final full day of summer. And, we hit 86 today. I've got a forecast of 84 tomorrow. I might end up taking that up to 86. There's really no reason why tomorrow is going to be any cooler than today. And if the month ended today, it would be the third driest September on record, and it would be about the 40th coolest September on record. This is going to change over the next few days. Instead of being below average for the month, which temperatures, believe it or not, still are because it was so cool early in the month, September is going to end up as a warmer than average month, no doubt, given the forecast for the next 7 days. All right, so any fog goes away tomorrow. We'll call it mostly sunny for the afternoon. And then the weather pattern's all blocked up. Jose is not moving. That circulation is going to be partly responsible for just the whole pattern getting kind of gunked up here over the next week. And sometimes that leads to lousy weather. Sometimes it works in our benefit. This time it's going to work in our benefit, although we do need the rain. And if you want some fall weather, you're not going to be happy. But if you like sunny and mid-80s, hey, this is your type of forecast. High pressure is just going to remain anchored. It's going to drop an anchor and hang out for several days. All the way through the middle of next week. And, it's pretty muggy for September as well. Dew points in the 60s. We may see a little relief from the dew points as we head into the weekend, but then going back up for next week. Next Wednesday, a week from today, probably the last hurrah in this pattern. I'm looking for a big-time pattern change at the end of next week. You can see that on the atmospheric moisture here. The precipitable water is the term, the technical term for this product, showing next week Maria climbing north, and then whoosh. Let me rewind that a little bit. Here's our front. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, bringing about a big-time change. And not only will this, bring an end to the ridiculous warmth, but, temperatures may actually go below average for a couple of days during the very end of next week and into next weekend. The 8 to 14 day outlook, I showed this last night, cooler than average temperatures in that 8 to 14 day outlook. Not that every single day in that 8 to 14 day range will be cooler than average, but taken as a whole, it probably ends up being cooler than average for the very end of September and the start of October. So fall weather fans, hang in there. We got to get through some remarkable warmth, and I'm going to start putting together some stats and share these over the next 24 hours about how unusual this warmth is, especially for this time of the year. I suspect this is going to end up being the longest stretch of this type of warmth on record for late September here in Youngstown. So I'm going to dive into those numbers tonight and into tomorrow, and I'll share them online and right here, of course, on Weather for Weather Geeks. Have a great Wednesday night, everyone.